Welcome to the Mid-Northeast Pets virtual training event, and thank you for joining us. We look forward to tonight's exciting session on fundraising. Our featured speaker tonight is District Governor nominee from 7255 in Long Island, Sonia Saleh. Please welcome our host for this evening, District Governor-elect Mary Ellen Elwood from District 7255 in Long Island.
Good evening, fellow Rotarians. Welcome to the last week of 2021 Mid-Northeast Pets. I'm Mary Ellen Elwood. I'm the District Governor from 7255 on Long Island, and I'm pleased to be with you tonight and excited for our discussion on fundraising then and now. Before we get started, we have a few housekeeping items. Please rename yourself with your position and district. And if you're a moderator, please make sure you have the A in the moderator before your name. Please use the chat box to ask questions throughout the event. Occasionally, we will be providing you links in the chat box as well. Lastly, this program is best seen in speaker view. Tonight marks the end of our Pets online learning, and we encourage you to continue to use the Learning Center found on myrotary.org after the event. The Learning Center has numerous courses and reference materials from many topics that will develop you into a better leader. As a reminder, the PETS website at petsmidnortheast.org is full of great resources and information. If you missed any of the live sessions, you can watch them by clicking the dates under 2021 event recordings. This past year has been incredibly hard on nonprofit organizations and their ability to raise funds in order to do their good work. Tonight, we're going to be discussing what we did in 2020 and what we can do moving forward. One of the questions that we hope you can answer by the end of the session is, how can we take our in-person events and pivot into the future? Our featured speaker tonight is DGN Sonia Saleh. Sonia is the founder and owner of her company, Uplifting Nonprofits. Her expertise is training and coaching nonprofits in fundraising and leadership. She is known for her program, Unleash Your Inner Fundraiser, which helps organizations and individuals optimize their fundraising efforts while doubling their fundraising results. For Sonia's full biography, please visit the PETS website. We'll be hearing from Sonia shortly after this short video.
Our connections make powerful things happen, uniting individuals and communities. We are Rotary. We are people of action. And together, we turn great ideas into reality by accessing our networks, our experience, and the best of ourselves to make a difference. Around the world, Rotary brings leaders together to build new friendships and to solve problems. For generations, we have worked side by side to come up with innovative ways to better our communities through the fundraising support of our members. Everyone learning from each other and everyone leaning on each other. Together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. With over 1 million members, we know what people can do when they come together. Let's take action today.
Now, please welcome Sonia Saleh.
Hello, hello, hello. What a year it's been. It's certainly been a challenging effing year. Effing meaning fundraising. I'm going to repeat it again so that you know what effing is and you realize I'm not swearing. It certainly has been a challenging fundraising year. Let me tell you, as you can tell, I love fundraising because it's all about bringing people together to accomplish amazing projects, changing lives, improving the environment, and of course, making the world better, following the Rotary 7 areas of focus. So how can you not want to make a difference when being a Rotarian gives us the wonderful opportunity to make the world happier. So let's talk about fundraising from 2020. And now, it was shocking how all in-person events came to a halt. Many nonprofits scrambled on what to do. Do we have an event, try this virtual thing, or pass on it this year? I know that many were and still are concerned about fundraising. Through the upheavals of the pandemic, social injustice, and politics, who had time or money to fundraise? And was it okay or right to ask for money when so many are going through difficult times? Let's see what the statistics tell us about how fundraising was impacted in 2020. Mike, can you pull up the poll, please? And if everybody would answer what they thought, how much was raised in the US for charity in 2020. And the results, okay, not bad. The actual answer is 500 billion. That's 500 billion. That's a lot of money. It actually was 496 billion, but who's going to worry about 4 billion when you're talking about 500 and 400 billion? That's a lot of money. It's actually the most that's ever been raised for nonprofits ever. And I want you to know that 80% of that comes from individuals, not corporations. So that means that $400 billion was donated by individuals last year in 2020. So people were generous, very generous. That signals to me that it's okay to be fundraising and asking for money for support for your good work. Let me also just say that between March 2020 and March 2021, the two administrations pumped $5 trillion into our economy. That's the largest amount ever to be pumped into our economy. That's not a political statement, it's a financial one. Because if 5 trillion is circulating in our economy, in addition to the money that's already there, that means there is money to support whatever project you want. So by all means, fundraise, fundraise, fundraise. Don't be shy about it. Because of the pandemic, Zoom has become our best friend. And the question of going virtual for events became a reality. So even though 2020 is over, and now that the vaccine is more widely available, Zoom will still be our friend, and there will still be many events held virtually. Yes, we will have hybrid. Yes, we will be back to in-person, but still, many have seen and awoken to the ease and charm of virtual events. So they're here to stay. Let's talk about virtual events. Mike, can you do the second poll, please? So what do you think are the advantages of virtual events? Excellent, excellent. So it is all of the above. When you have a virtual event, you capture your money immediately and you don't need to go chasing people for a check or payment. Such a huge advantage. So many times we're running around, yes, sure, I trust you, and then we have to go find them to get the check. Speakers and guests don't have to travel. As you can see from our meetings, look at where we have everybody from Canada to Alaska here. And that opens you up to new audiences, guests, speakers, or honorees, which I'm hoping you've been doing at your club level already. It's opening you especially to new audiences by bringing in different speakers. That helps you with your event for capturing them. Now, to capture their information, this is my favorite reason for a virtual event. Because when you have an event virtually, you have a mailing list or what we call an e-list, right? So you can mail to everybody what's happening. You can do it to the guests, and then you invite them as attendees, and then you invite them to your meetings, and you can turn them into members and create donors for your next event. You know, what I find is that two of the worst things that happen at in-person events is getting the word out to everyone. Hey, did we send the flyer? Did we send them the invitation? Did everybody get? Did so-and-so answer? And then following up afterwards. With virtual events, you can follow up and you can thank them for participating and find out if they enjoyed themselves and what was the highlight. So you're connecting and engaging with them as opposed to just saying goodbye to them at the event and not seeing them till your next event. When you do that, you have the opportunity to bring them greater into your club, possibly be members and be greater donors. Another thing that's attractive about virtual events is corporate sponsors or company sponsors. Because it's virtual and recorded, you are giving them the opportunity to have their name seen multiple times. When you do an in-person event, it's usually on your invitation and at the event. But with virtual, you can do it on the invitation, as you send out email reminders, as you at the event, and after the event with the thank yous. The other thing that you can do is forward it to the corporation or company, and they can put it on their website, excuse me, just as you can put the recording of the event, the virtual event, on your website. So that means this event is living on. But also what happens is many companies will post it on their event that they supported you because it shows that they're doing good in the world. Also, many of them will put it in their e-signature to share. So that means that your event can get lots of publicity that you hadn't planned on or hadn't paid for. This advantage for companies and sponsors, corporate sponsors, is so nice that you can charge them a much higher rate than you do at an in-person event. So those are some of the things. Of course, with a virtual, the costs shift and usually end up being a lot less expensive than in person. You aren't weather dependent, so who cares if it rains or snows or it's really hot? You can record your event, have it live, have it on your website, clip pieces of it and use it in various marketing, put it on your Facebook, put it in different areas. It's also very easy to promote on social media. So even though we're getting ready to go in person and have some in person, don't give up on virtual. Virtual can help you. So I'd like you to be aware of it. The other thing is with virtual is you do need to take electronic payments. Cash and checks are not as common anymore. Debit and credit cards are, right? We're all using that. And who knows, maybe in a couple of years we'll be doing Bitcoins. Who knows? It's, you know, we're all open to exposure of different things. By the way, many of you are already using virtual fundraising. You're doing it on Facebook. A lot of you with the birthdays, I see you there. You know, it's my birthday, donate to my club, donate to this, donate to that. So you're already experiencing virtual. Don't be afraid of virtual. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend you do. There are many ways to do it. There are many companies popping up everywhere to help you. All you have to do is Google virtual events. I'm not going to give you the events. You're going to do that when you start in the breakout rooms and sharing. But you can have everything from a magician to cooking classes to something like Buddy the Elf reading. I think Gift of Life did that. to playing Name That Tune. Then you can have virtual marathons, dance-a-thons, or any-a-thons. You can vote for your favorite baby. You can have an auction. These options and opportunities are limited only by your imagination. So once again, I don't want you to give up on virtual if we're opening up. You will need to find a platform that helps you set up and collect the money. Also, many of the platforms will do the raffles for you. They'll do the auctions. They'll do the a-thons for you. But again, you can Google because there are many. I do know that Event Groove works a lot with Rotary clubs. It's called Event Groove. They do work with a lot of Rotary clubs, and no, they didn't pay me to say that, but I do know they do. But Facebook does it. There's several. So look into it, see what your situation is and what works best for you. As things are opening up and we're coming more to in-person, vaccines are coming out to the forefront, you have the luxury now of deciding whether to go virtual, hybrid, or in person. You can do all, you can do none, you can do some. I suggest you do in person and virtual. But how do you know what to do? Here are some questions to help you decide. Check with your major sponsors or donors, your major companies that are supporting you. Find out if they will support you if you do something different. Don't be embarrassed to ask them because they'll be honored that you value and want their opinion. Also, will your past honorees attend and support the event? Because you do want them there because they bring others. What are your clear objectives of the event? Is it for people to come together? Is it for them to learn, to make new friends and attract new donations? Is it for friends to finally get together, to have fun, to raise money for a specific project, or to raise money for your club to do many projects? What's the financial goal and expense budget? If your primary objective is to raise money, how much do you have to net? And do you have enough people to volunteer to do the work that you want to do? Is it less expensive to have it virtual or in person? Another thought is that you can partner with other clubs or community groups to fundraise, whether you're doing virtual or in person. It doubles everyone's exposure. I highly recommend it. And it's more fun. It lightens the burden. So I recommend that you look for other clubs to partner with, as well as other community organizations. I have been moderating the rooms during the Pets, and I was very happy to hear that clubs are fundraising. But I do know that some aren't and are afraid to, and that's why I went through what I did. But when we go into the breakout rooms, share your successes, share any mistakes you made so we can all learn and improve. Don't be shy about it. Also, Mel will be telling you about a Google form. I love saying Google. Anyhow, she'll be telling you about a Google form, and you'll want to fill it out because this benefits everyone. This is the time in the breakouts to communicate, to share. Don't be shy. Remember, this is not the time to play small. Remember, all that money is in the economy waiting for you to take and do those great works and to make a difference. People want to make a difference, and you can help them do that. So go do the effing. Go fundraise. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia. That was wonderful. You know, and when you mentioned about the money coming into the economy from the government, I know a lot of people that I'm friends and family members didn't need the checks. So they were thankful they didn't need them. and they turned around and gave the money that they received from their stimulus checks back out to charities. So checks are coming in the mail, folks. Now's the time to ask. We are now going to go into our breakout rooms. DGE Mike will be giving you directions shortly. While in your breakout rooms, we're asking you to share ideas on how your club has fundraised during the pandemic and what your plans are for the future. Okay, welcome back. I hope that you all had great discussions and learned something new from your colleagues and classmates. We're going to take a few minutes to highlight some of the ideas in the different groups as we've done in the past weeks. So I'm going to call on a few of the moderators to share with us some of their thoughts from their group. Eric Storberg, you're first up.
All right, well, thank you very much. Well, we had an interesting, lively discussion, and a lot of great ideas were shared. I'll give you one that probably isn't repeatable, but the Rocky Point Club, they have 20 members. They had every year they have a golf outing, which tends to get rained out on the day it's supposed to be scheduled, and then it gets pushed off to the rain date. But this year, because of the pandemic, they couldn't serve what they normally would serve. And instead of making 20,000 or so, they made 35 because they didn't have to give drinks. They didn't have to feed people except for a box lunch. I mean, it really worked out well for them this year. So the pandemic was fantastic for them this year. But as far as something that you can, take to the bank, I'll share a story from the Melbrook Club. Jan Miller shared this story. She said, and I mention this because, they used to do, high-end art auctions and, things along those lines, very labor intensive. And it would make some money, but it was just very, as I mentioned, very, very involved. What they decided to do was put out a high-end business directory instead, because they're in a sort of a touristy area. So people come in and they don't know what's where. So this area includes part of Dutchess County all the way up to the Berkshires. And so they print 5,000 directories and it makes them 20,000. And they say it's just, set and forget. It's very easy now. So that's something to consider. If you just, that's an easy 20,000 in the bank for virtually very little work. So that was, that's again, something that you could take to the bank. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. And I think that's what a lot of people are finding, that they can do things easier and less complicated and make as much money. So wonderful. And I put in the chat box, because you mentioned the art auction, a company that does virtual art auctions in case anyone's interested. So next up we have Cecily Smith.
Hi, we talked about some great ideas that everybody did. Two of the clubs had done Christmas tree auctions, Christmas tree sales, and pivoted to online. A lobster fest that normally happened in person became takeout with lots of volunteers to help organize that pickup. One of the things that was really successful was Englewood, and I think they had a partner club, did a virtual gala this year. So their gala became online, but that increased their audience. So it's not just the local people, a lot more people could be involved. Their overhead is exponentially lower, and they raised a lot more money. And even going forward, that's something that they're looking to do next year, is keep a virtual gala. Some of the things we also talked about in a more general way: find a community group to partner with for your events. Even online, it builds your audience, it builds the volunteers. And in general, it's more inclusive. The people that couldn't afford a fancy event ticket could afford to come to something online, and you can have that ticket price be a lot more inclusive, sort of people donating what they want. You can get a lot more people into Rotary that might not be comfortable buying a ticket, going across town, going to an event they didn't know anybody. So you can build your audience. And they also found, to close it out, using their social media increased and improved their presence. They had to do it in general, but events, calls to action, fundraising, everything by improving their Facebook presence really built up their group, so that could help for their fundraising as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Cecily. And that's true. The virtual world, when you have Facebook and all those other things, really gives you a much wider audience and can potentially make a lot more money. Next up is Mike Sedenfrau.
Thank you. We had a pretty energetic group of president-elects and assistant governors. Some clubs faced challenges being locked down in Staten Island and other parts that were more affected by the pandemic, and they couldn't dig out, unfortunately. And other clubs were able to reinvent themselves and their events. A couple of clubs utilized their virtual meetings to sell the idea of collecting lunch and happy or sunshine bucks in advance as a fundraiser, and that raised several $1,000s. Another club had going into their 8th year, a 5K walk run that had to go virtual. It wasn't as successful as the in-person events, but they were still able to be successful and stay relevant, which was important to them. And an idea that was really exciting that was brought up by more than one president-elect, and then we really had a lot of energy around it, spoke about it, which I think is exciting, is a multicultural cookbook. That's a concept that many of us know, whether many districts are utilizing the diversity, equity, and inclusion strategy as part of their growth strategies. And it's pretty good timing to think about something like that and getting businesses to underwrite those cookbooks, whether they're done virtually or in print. We thought that was a pretty exciting idea, and a couple of clubs were sharing ideas that were neighboring, hopefully that will continue because everyone's information was shared in the chat box. That's pretty much it. I mean, as far as technology, clubs utilizing Venmo and PayPal to collect funds on virtual events was spoken about, and that's something I would recommend using as we continue to do virtual events. And then there was some focus towards the end of our group that in the coming months, as we get into the summer and the early fall, that we're going to be coming out of this, and there's going to be pent-up demand for in-person events, and we want to be able to take advantage of it as well.
Great, thanks, Mike. And I think when bringing in the diversity, equity, inclusion, like for the multicultural cookbook, some folks, and I know my group too, talked about tying service projects with fundraising. So there's a lot of different things we can bring in to make our fundraising and virtual events, even better. So it sounds like everybody had great time and great discussions in your breakouts. And I'm sure there was a lot of great ideas shared. These are just a couple. We have created a Google form to share fundraising ideas across our 6 districts. The link is in the chat box and will be emailed to all the registrations at the end of the event. If you have a great idea for a fundraiser, please fill out the form by this Friday, April 2nd, and next week we'll publish the ideas to all those who registered for pets. Be sure to check out the virtual booth for Russell Hampton on the Pets website. And I think they still have their 15% off just for a few more days. So last chance to get a discount. This is the last week we're giving away a $100 gift card, which we're going to do shortly. After we spin the wheel, we have a few more remarks from the Pets 2022 chair and from our current chair. So please stay with us. And let's go to the prize wheel, Mike, and see who's going to get some money. Congratulations, Chris. Okay, now we're going to go to Arnie Karanta. Arnie is from District 7255, and he's going to be the chair for the 2022 Pets. Arnie.
Thank you, Mel. I just wanted to share with everybody from District 7255, Long Island, like Mel just mentioned. I was a district governor in 2010-11, one of the best years in Rotary, based on myself. I wanted to first thank Mike and his team. They did a fantastic job. Many of you don't realize that Mike was not the original chair of this Pets, but less than 3 months ago, he stepped up when Sully from 7230 for personal reasons had to step down. And Mike was running the curriculum and the training, and he put so much time and effort into it that we only felt that he'd be the best person to bring it on home. And he did a wonderful job, and I just wanted to personally give him a round of applause for everything he's done. He did a fantastic job. Next year, I'm definitely looking to change it up a lot for people to step out of their comfort zone and do things. I'm praying daily that this is going to be the first live pets we've had in 2 years. And we will be at Whippany, New Jersey at the Marriott. We're going to stay at the same location. They've done a fine job for us in years, and I don't see a reason to change it. What my ideas are is to change the way we run the pets and how we do it. We're going to definitely step out of the box, and you're not going to hear the term we've always done it that way, because it's going to be banned from the vets. We're going to do this completely different. We're going to have people in front of the room that are probably younger than your kids. I feel that people, if you're older than 40, you shouldn't be up there presenting to us, because Rotary's been doing a lot of things wrong in the past 2 decades and telling us how to grow membership, because we're not growing it. And we're going to have a bunch of millennials in front of the stage, and they're going to tell us the reason that if they join Rotary, why they're no longer a member of Rotary, and what we need to do to correct it. Because I think we need to hear that from their voices, not be told by older people how we should go. We need to hear from the interactors and Rotaractors of why they haven't joined Rotary after they graduated high school and college. So I think that is a big impact I'm looking to have in our pets, and I hope you are around to come by and be part of it, because we're going to have our first meeting on Thursday as a recap for this pets, and I'm meeting with the incoming the ends, which will be the DGEs next year tomorrow, to get their feedback on how to approach this. I am in need of a registrar. Barry really is set the bar very, very high on registrars for live pets. He has agreed. I spoke to him today. He's agreed to train the next registrar. He has a lot of already. All the hard work is done. Put it that way. He has all the forms, everything done virtually, where it can all be emailed that easy. But I need a young gun that Barry splits his time now between here and Baltimore, since he's building a house down there with his daughter. And he said he doesn't have the full time to give to it, but he will definitely work with a new person and train them and show them how to do it. Which, if you have any interest in doing, please get in touch with me, because that is a big part of Pets Live, is having a registrar that is computer savvy and can get it. It's the hardest job done in pets. Forget about being the chair, forget about being a DGE. Being a registrar is the hardest job on a live pets. And anybody that's done it, I'm sure will totally agree. The last week of pets is crazy when it comes to that. But I'm looking for someone that is willing to take on the challenge. So reach out to me. Again, I look forward to the out of thinking people. If you're interested, I'm looking for the young guns in your district, the ones that have been in passport clubs and satellite clubs that have impressed everybody. They used to be interactors, rotaractors, even if they were in none of those, but they're in their 20s and 30s and have made an impact in your district or your Rotary Club. That's who I want presenting next year. So looking forward to meeting everybody live and in person. So thanks again. And I guess we'll turn it back to Mel.
Thanks, Arnie. And lastly, before we go to our Pets Chair, Mike, on behalf of myself and my fellow classmates, I want to thank Barry Kroll and Louis Turpin for coming out of Pets Committee retirement to handle all the behind the scenes technology. It truly takes a village, and we couldn't have done it without them. And as Arnie had said, each year Pets is chaired by a past district governor. And unfortunately, we had someone had to step down, but we had Mike there ready to step up and take up the lead and do everything for us. including writing all our scripts each week for us. So I'm not this eloquent. This is Mike. But he's done a fabulous job. And as you can see, there's a picture on the screen right now. So this is a bag from us classmates to you, Mike. So when you're finished, you can relax, enjoy some adult beverages, and have a nice relaxing evening. And now here is Mike Polasek. Where'd Mike go?
Thank you, Mel and Arnie. I really appreciate that. And good evening, fellow Rotarians. I would like to take a moment to say that it truly has been an absolute honor and a privilege to serve as chair for the 2021 Mid-Northeast Pets. I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to the full Pets Committee for putting the trust in me to bring this training event to life. This past year was tough for all of us. And we have tough years, but it doesn't mean we toss in the towel. Instead, together as a team, we embrace the opportunity to try something different. And we hope that you enjoyed this virtual training experience. I would also like to thank my classmates for their help with this event. To George McGinnis, Mary Ellen Elwood, Mary Ellen Bentler, Shelby Rhodes, and John Tusani. The experience of collaborating with you since August has been one that I will truly never forget. You are a wonderful group of people, and I am so very grateful to be alongside you for our journey together. The production team has been working incredibly hard behind the scenes to literally make this event happen. A virtual event for 400 people is not an easy task. To Louis Turpin, Barry Kroll, and Mary Ellen Bentler, I speak for everyone online when I say thank you for your service. In the beginning of February, the district governors-elect from around the world took part in a virtual international assembly, which is our version of PETS for district governors. President-elect Shaker calls my class of governors the change maker governors. Change maker. I like that. Together, I think of everyone on here as change maker leaders. This pandemic has catapulted our organization far into the future. There's no doubt about it. Just look at the way we're meeting tonight. We are in a time that is new and uncharted. And it's up to us as change maker leaders to do just that. Change. Change not just to change, but change to grow our organization and carve the path for Rotary's future. The data doesn't lie. We are in the decline in terms of membership, locally and throughout all of North America. For some of our clubs, it's time to try something new. Keep what works, but change what doesn't. Use Rotary's flexibility to develop your club into a new, innovative model. Or try a new way to engage your current members. Take the ideas that you shared in these breakout rooms and run with them. If you do, I promise you that when you try something new, you will have the entire Rotary organization behind you, all of the way. At the first week of PETS, you heard from Rotary International President-elect Shaker. President-elect Shaker shared his theme with you. Serve to change lives. What a simple but effective message. Who are we as Rotarians? A look at our vision statement answers just that. Together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. So who are we? We are people of action. And what do? We serve to change lives. Lastly, I want to thank all of you for your commitment to leadership. You have chosen to step up in a time where the world needs us the most. So thank you for accepting that challenge to grow our organization and bring it to a new level so that it can thrive in the future. My fellow Rotarians, If there is one thing that I hope this event has taught you, it is that we are stronger together. No matter what leadership position you're in, your success in our great organization hinges on the fact that leadership is not about one person. There is no my year or the word I. It takes the strength and courage of all of us working as a team, side by side, to serve to change lives and to continue to make us the greatest service organization in the world. We live in a time where our ability to break down barriers defines our strength. So step up. Be the changemaker leader that I know you are. The future of Rotary is counting on you. Will you accept that challenge together with me? I look forward to the time that we'll be able to be together again in person. Until then, I wish you all much success in our journey together. Thank you and good night.